Alright, let's party like it's 1929. I've just finished my game Booze and Betrayal and it's out on itch.io. And I've done this in 4 weeks. That is worthy of a little celebration. So here it is on itch.io. Go and check it out if you wanna download it. There is a link in the description below. So I made this game using Godot. It's a pixel platformer game with a mafia theme. It is my first complete game and part of my learning process. I'm learning game development, and throughout this year I will be making 2 more games, and by the end of the year I want to have the last one published on Steam. If you want to go get this game, as I said, the link to the itch.io page is in the description. I put the price at $2, which is pretty random. This is a short game, it's got some rough edges, not super professional, so I got no idea what would be the right pricing for this. If you got any thoughts regarding pricing, let me know in the comments below. So I started this game on January the 5th, and here is some of the early footage. I got here the player with some movement and the policeman just standing there. I decided to use raycasting for the shooting instead of moving sprites, and that worked pretty cool, even though at this point it wasn't at all finished. One early thing I worked on was the animations, especially for shooting and walking at the same time. So I wanted the player to be able to shoot while walking without syncopating the steps, and I solved this by splitting the player sprites in a top part and a bottom part so that I could control the animations separately. I also hooked up the firing of the bullets to the animations themselves, and really the animation feature in Godot is just super fantastic. It feels like you can control anything with this, and I thought this was a smooth way to solve this. I just plugged in the firing function at the exact frames where there is a muzzle flame, and then I could have this pretty easily solved even with guns having different firing rates like the handgun and the Tommy gun. One thing that did not end up in the finished game was rain. I made a little rain generating function and that looked cool enough, but I didn't end up using that after all. And of course, a little cool factor, the cigarette smoke looked just hilarious, I think. Since I decided to use raycasting for shooting, I had an issue where the enemies would potentially be too quick to fire, and this was something I solved using the animation, as I put the actual firing of the shot a little bit into the animation, and I also put a random time delay before the shooting animation started to kind of stagger the shots when there were many enemies firing at once to make them a little bit more dangerous. I made different animations for the headshots and normal kills, both falling forwards and backwards, and I did this for the police and the hoodlums. I did not make a headshot animation for the mini bosses at level 3 though, but for the police and gangsters it looked pretty cool. And combined with the blood splatter, this all gave it a pretty gory look. One mechanic that I played around with a bit but decided to scrap in the end was enemies killing each other. I thought this could be an interesting element of gameplay, but I couldn't find a way to make this work the way I wanted, so I just cut it, and without it the game was just more fun and challenging. The policemen on level 1 were actually the only enemies who could fire in several different directions, both forward and downwards. I guess I could have done more out of this element. There are really only a few cops being up high and the rest of them being down on ground level, but that gave level 1 a bit of verticality, which was pretty nice. Here is some footage from Devlog 7 in which I introduced the baseball bat and the health and ammo pickups. I made the baseball bat a very powerful weapon, killing the cops with only 1 hit, so that was a pretty cool and fun weapon to play with. For level 2 I added some verticality by just adding some types of platforms so the enemy gangsters could move in 2 layers or levels. This worked out nice enough on this level, and as well on this level the cops will not open fire as long as you don't show your weapon in front of them, so they kind of don't detect you as long as you don't reveal that you are in fact armed, and they will just think that you are some normal citizen walking around minding your own business. Here's level 3, which is quite heavily inspired from the game Rotgut, both the interior design and the new enemy, the mini-boss here. So he can take quite a bit of damage and he's very quick to fire if you get in front of him, otherwise he's not terribly difficult really. It's just that he takes a lot of damage and also his gun is very powerful. I did adjust down his stamina from what you see here though. In the end he could take only 3 shots from the handgun. And then the final level, the showdown with Sammy. I struggled a bit with what to make of this level, and to be honest, I don't think this is the best showdown level I could have made. But I was very short on time, and I had made myself a deadline that I was struggling a lot to keep. At least the gameplay here is very, very different, and it's got some humoristic touch to it, I guess. I won't reveal the ending though. If you want that, you can go and download the game. Well, to conclude all of this was a game that I put aside 4 weeks to make, or a month. I started on January the 4th and published on February the 4th. This is my first complete game, the first out of 3 that I'll be making this year. I did have a lot of fun doing this for sure. I think I've learned a lot doing this. And going forward now, I will have a little break until the beginning of March, and then I will start another project. And for this next one, I will put aside 3 months to making, having a goal of publishing by the end of May, I think, or beginning of June. And I will do the same as I've done with this one, making regular devlogs throughout. I don't know which game I will be making, but I'll figure that out pretty soon. And as well, I hope to improve the quality of these devlogs a little bit. I do very much enjoy making these, and I love the feedback from you guys on YouTube. And I think that while I'm having my little game dev break, I'll try to make some other types of videos to post, maybe some tutorials or stuff. And yeah, so anyway, if you stuck with me until now, please click the like button if you liked it. If you haven't already, subscribe, click the notification bell if you want to get notified, and I will see you around.